What's going on, everybody? Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of the Legion of Raw. Listen, I am here at the go-home show of WrestleMania, and man, what an exciting, action-packed show that WWE gave us to whet our appetite for the upcoming WrestleMania. Man, I'm trying to keep a straight face here by saying this, but it's hard. It's really difficult saying this, man. The excitement, the action-packed, just excitement. So, are you excited?
All right, Chris, let's go through the drill. There are people very excited about WrestleMania on Saturday and Sunday. They're going to have their WrestleMania parties. You're going to have people flying all over the world to LA, and you know what, bro? Good for them. Life is too short, and if that's what they really, really enjoy, good for them. Yeah. I am just as psyched. Probably, baseball season kicks off on Thursday, so that's what I'm excited about. That
nice.
I would just like all those fans that are super hyped about this. Take away the Cody and the Roman Reigns match. I would just love to ask them, outside of that, what match are you looking forward to and why? I mean, very, very simple question, because this entire show was a hype show. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, bro, are you looking forward to the 6-women tag that opened this show? Well, bro, I don't know how you'd be looking forward to it, bro, if there wasn't any heat tonight.
Yeah.
You've already seen the babies go over, so you're not tuning in to see them get any kind of comeuppance, or, they've pretty much dominated this damage control from day one.
Yeah.
So is that the match you're looking forward to? Is Ray Dominic the match you're looking forward to? I would really like to understand as a shoot what these people are excited about.
Personally, the only match I'm looking forward to is the tag match. I think the only reason, because that's the best story that we have going into WrestleMania, that was the Bloodline, and it's sad that the Bloodline story culminates with that, though. And it's not even really in Roman's involvement to us in a sense of the Bloodline culminating was last month, was Elimination Chamber. And it looks like the Bloodline story's culminating with the tag match. And that's a little anticlimactic to me, honestly, because like I said before, Cody in this it just doesn't make sense to me. As far as the Bloodline storyline, he was just thrown in here a couple of months ago because he won the Royal Rumble. They're trying to make it make sense, but to me, it just doesn't make sense from a story arc perspective. Something that's been going on for over 2.5 years now altogether, and just to culminate with Cody just kind of being thrown in there. I just don't see it. The match will be okay to me. I think Seth and Logan will be good as far as just an exciting match. I mean, I really don't know what else.
And again, Chris, that's what I question. We said 4 weeks ago, whenever this run started, we said, this was gonna, I love them to death, but we said this was going to be the Dutch Mantel maintenance, and they were going to maintenance it for the next 4 weeks, and all they were going to do is give people wins and give them packages. I mean, but again, if I were writing this show, to me, the entire last thing you would have seen was it being an absolute setup and Reigns destroying Cody Rhodes. That's how I would have booked this. You got the distraction of the two guys coming. Cody's distraction is turned. You got Paul there to do something with. You got Sequoia. There's a million ways you could have done it where Roman Reigns could have got huge heat on. But Cody Rhodes beating Sequoia, okay. And then Sami and Kevin Owens running those guys off with girly punches. Okay. All right. Like, again, I'm being dead serious when I say I would love to ask a WWE fan who is going out of their mind over this upcoming show, what is it that they're going out of their mind over? Because are they Gunther and Drew and Sheamus?
Yeah. I think that match would be hard hitting. I mean, people enjoy the match for the match's sake. But there's not really a story that came from that either. So,
bro, not only is there not a story that came from that, bro, I don't watch SmackDown, but I do know this. Drew McIntyre and Sheamus were once world champions. Bro, did Hulk ever compete for the Intercontinental title after the heavyweight title? I don't get that, bro. I don't. Once you're a champion and you're competing for other titles, that is clearly a step down. So I'm going to get excited about the possibility of Drew McIntyre winning an Intercontinental title when he was the world heavyweight champion. Like, really, bro?
I suppose, can everybody be world champ at once and just giving someone the belt, just to make them look relevant as opposed to not having a title at all? I guess that's their logic behind it. So we shall see where that goes. Got a couple super chats. We got one from Joseph Gonzalez, $4.99.
Yeah, baby.
Candice LaRue and Ramen Noodles. Not only got no reaction,
Joseph, easy.
But now they don't even get introduced before the match starts. Why bother having them on TV?
Not only that, Joseph, I will add to your thoughts. Then we have Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. Now they're Karens. Since when was Sonya Deville? Do they not know what a Karen is? Like, I'm asking that as first of all, Karens are not attractive. They're they're usually unattractive on the inside and out. Yeah. Second of all, I've been seeing Deville on this show for at least 3 years. And Chris, I'm sure it's a lot longer than that. You could tell me. But now all of a sudden she's a Karen?
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Like,
that didn't make sense.
I'm talking about. Like, come on, man. Really, bro?
I wonder what's up with Carmella.
I guess she got hurt again, bro. I mean, and I was hoping that wasn't the case, because if it is, she's gonna get labeled, man, because she gets hurt a lot, bro.
Oof. Yeah. That is sad. Next, there's another super chat. Mike Dowling, $5. Looking forward to Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre old school hard hitting match.
That's fair. That's fair, Mike. I can understand that. That's fair.
Yep. Star Tracker Tracks, $5 super chat. Boo. Why are they having 2 fatal 4-ways at Mania with 16 people between them? No idea what to do with their stars.
Yeah, every time you get to WrestleMania time, Star Tracker, like, you want to try to get everybody on the show. Yeah. That's kind of like the payoff for the entire year, so they could have the experience that they were on WrestleMania. They could put it on their resume. Believe it or not, bro, it really, really does mean a lot to the talent. And that's why, Chris, you'll see the Andre the Giant Battle Royal and all this stuff, just to try to get as many people on the show as possible.
But that's not even on WrestleMania. That's on SmackDown. the Andre Battle Royal. So it's like they're not even.
Well, there you go. There you
They're
go.
not even doing that much anymore, man. I just, like I told you before, man. I think I think it's for the sake. I'm just not a fan of these wrestlers just being thrown on there just to be thrown on there, man.
Yeah.
I mean, give me something. I mean, WrestleMania is known as like the granddaddy of them all. It's the showcase of the immortals, is what they call it. You got all these names. It's the Super Bowl. It's the All-Star Game. It's everything. It's the pinnacle of pro wrestling. And what you're doing with the pinnacle of pro wrestling is you're just throwing a bunch of non all stars on there and branding it as like, oh, this is our biggest show of the year, with basically a Raw show that has some enhancements on it. You know, it's just like, what are we doing here, man? Who cares about the 4-way? There's no stipulation to it, or either way, either 4-way. At least if you make it a number one contenders match, I'll have better buy-in to that. Like, you're just showing 50-50 teams on WrestleMania against each other. I mean, it just, to me, that just makes no sense. Both of them are popcorn matches. You're having popcorn matches on WrestleMania. I just, from someone who's watched all of the WrestleManias, I just don't understand why you would do something like that.
Tickets are sold, bro.
And we've talked about that, and
Exactly.
that's diluting your product week by week by week, because at the end of the day, yes, you did sell the tickets, but at the same time, though, is this how you want to represent your brands outside of the hardcore fans? You know what I mean? Because, you know, people come back to WWE when it's WrestleMania just because of the hype, you know, just like people, you know, I'm a Titans fan. I watch the Super Bowl, you know, regardless of if the Titans are in it or not. You know what I mean? So just because of the spectacle, I watch it. But at the same, I mean, that's the same time. That's the same thing with WrestleMania. But at the same time, you're supposed to keep the people in that's casually coming in around this time of the year, and it's not going to help if they're looking at a card and like, I have no clue who these people are and why do I ever care?
Chris, that's exactly. Listen, let's face it, Chris. Let's you and I, you know, let's look at what happened at the Final Four this past weekend, bro. You got 3 Cinderella teams.
Yeah,
bro. They're gonna lose a ton of more money. They want their marquee. They want the top 4 teams in the Final Four.
Yeah, there's
That's
no
what
number one seeds in the Final Four.
Exactly. That's what they want. That's the money, bro. It's the same here.
Yeah.
That's why I think their mentality is, you know, if we throw a Cena out there and, you know, maybe next year we get Rock and maybe we can get Austin to come back like we did last year. Yeah. I think they look at it the same exact way. I don't think their weekly roster matters one iota, bro. I really, really don't.
And even with the Final Four, yes, it's going to lose a lot of money, but there's a fun, exciting story behind it too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You have Florida Atlantic. You know what I mean? Like, you have these teams that you're pulling for. You know, San Diego State. You know what I mean? They've never, you know, had Final Four appearance or a championship. You know, same thing with Florida Atlantic. You know, I mean, they just, I think about 6 or 7 years ago is when they became a D1 team. So, like, you're having these Cinderella stories. You're having people who are, you know, just fans are just buying into they're basically baby faces. You're like, okay, let me get behind them because they've never been here before. That's exciting. There's a buy-in there. There's no buy-in, you know, even with the ticket to the Final Four, there's still buy-in there. There's no buy-in here with WrestleMania, minus a few matches. But other than that, you're just throwing it onto the card because people got tickets.
Yeah, man. And like you said, Chris, what adds insult to injury is now you're going to stretch that over 2 nights?
2 nights.
I mean, that's really like, okay. But, hey, bro, hey, listen, you know, again, there are a lot of people going to eat this up and a lot of people anticipating this. I am not one of them. I'm not going to watch WrestleMania, bro. The only thing I care about is I will go online when the event is over and I will see what they did in the finish of Cody and and Roman. That's it. I could care. And anything else on that, Logan Paul, I could care less. I just want to see how they book the finish of that match. And the reason why I want to do that, Chris, too, is because the finish of that match is really going to dictate direction.
Yeah.
So the finish of that match is going to give you a good insight as to where they're going to go next.
Yeah. We shall see. Got a few more superstar Star Trek or Treks. Oh, we talked about. We had that one already. We got Awesome Sauce 550. Russo is right. Mania isn't just the same anymore since Bobby Heenan and Red Rooster 30-second classic.
Yes.
Peak of our sport. It's so funny because even that's precisely my point. That's precisely my point. Like even Red Rooster, Terry Taylor was not anywhere close to a main event talent at that time. In the WWE, he was in other territories, but in the WWE, he wasn't anywhere close to a main event talent. Had a mohawk, feathered style, red, hairstyle. But Bobby Heenan was such an amazing heel that he made anybody look good. Mm-hmm. And even with that spot with the Red Rooster, because he's such a good heel, he made the Red Rooster have a spot at WrestleMania, and it meant something.
Mm-hmm.
Something even to that caliber is precisely my point, man.
Well, bro, look, Awesome Sauce is talking about it. How many years after?
Yeah, I mean,
what are we? How many years after?
Almost 34 years.
34 years. Are we going to be talking about Gunther and McIntyre and Sheamus? Like,
precisely,
you think?
Precisely, exactly. Andrew Cool, we got $5 super chat. Tag title is not is the only one that should main event based on the story that had been told since April 2022, and both women matches barely had no build. Yeah, I mean, you don't even have Bianca and Asuka there.
Oh my God, they weren't even on the show, were they? Yeah, they were not even represented.
Edge and Finn weren't on there either.
Edge and Finn again were not there on this show.
They had video packages, and then you have Lashley in the backstage and the Andre the Giant Battle Royal segment. Oh, did I make the list? I mean, like, that's where you want to put Bobby Lashley as the making the list of an Andre Battle Royal on SmackDown. It's not even on WrestleMania.
I remember, bro, I swear to God, Chris, I can remember 8th grade basketball. Yeah. Did you make the list? The list was outside the door, like 8th grade basketball. Yeah. This is how these guys are finding out if they're on WrestleMania.
Yeah. And again, this isn't even WrestleMania. This is on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So you're excited about making, to me, that whole segment just made Lashley look even worse.
Yep.
Because you're having people excited to be a part of a battle royal on SmackDown. And then, oh my God, Boogs is, he's like, oh my gosh, he's about to have a hernia of excitement. And then that ends to Lashley behind Elias. And
bro, it's so funny. Think about this, Chris, because I think we are at this point now. And again, if I were writing, this is what I do. Obviously, I'm not writing. Obviously, I don't want to write. However, we've had so many different levels of Bray Wyatt and so many problems for reasons that you and I will probably never know. You could speculate all you want, whatever. If I'm at the point where it's happened again, I am now making that the Bray Wyatt story. And I'm going to go back to the beginning. I'm going to document everything, why this happened, why this didn't happen, why Alexa. I am documenting the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then I am starting from there as a shoot.
Yeah.
I mean, so now obviously he isn't on WrestleMania, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to bring him back with another puppet or another uncle or man, bro. And like you said, now it makes Bobby Lashley look like an afterthought. Mm-hmm. That's another thing, Chris. Again, if I'm writing and I got a talent like Lashley, you just can't drop this without protecting him.
You have to.
You gotta give some kind of a reason. Either he set the funhouse ablaze and everybody died in it. Something. But the way they did this tonight, it made him look like such an afterthought. And watching this, bro, he felt like just an afterthought, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that he can't be pleased at all with how this turned out for him. He really got the shortest end of the stick here.
Yeah, I agree.
Sad, very sad. We got Scott Smith, $5. I'm looking forward to see Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins because there's heat with Logan punching Seth in the face. You got anything on that, man?
No.
You got nothing. JB's Productions, $5.
I think Scott's hitting the rum candy again, bro.
You think so?
I think so, man. Yes.
JB's thinks Productions thinks this go home show was terrible. No big stars there to promote the matches. No Roman, no Cena, no Edge, no Logan Paul, no Bianca Belair, no Oscar. Yeah, we were just talking about that. Yeah, and it's sad because it's like wouldn't you get all your heavy hitters of the the preview or to get us excited about the season finale of any show? You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't it make sense? Why wouldn't you bring the heavy hitters there on Raw? And you can't expect. I mean, you can't expect people watch SmackDown who watches Raw because you see the numbers. It's not the same. It's not the same amount of people. There's about 500,000 people that watch SmackDown more than Raw. However, these people aren't watching Raw, so they don't even know what's going to happen because a lot of times it's split. You know what I mean? So it's like now you're going to have somehow Cody and Roman Reigns do a face-off, but you needed Solo Sikoa to take the fall to make Cody look better. Why are you sacrificing Solo here?
Well, JB, let's look at this, Chris. Let's look at this from a different point of view. You take Roman, you take Cena, you take Edge, you take Logan Paul, you take Bianca Belair, you take Asuka. What's that price tag, bro? And is that price tag going to sell you any more tickets, Chris? No. So look at the money they're saving not having any of those people on the show because the tickets are already sold, bro.
True, but they're probably there though. They're probably
they might be knowing them, bro. They might be. You're right about that, Chris.
Yeah,
you're right about
because,
that.
I mean, Phoenix is what 3.5 hour or 4 hour drive or something like that from LA. So they're probably most likely most of them will be driving from Phoenix to LA, tonight or tomorrow. So they're either hanging out in LA right now, which, close by driving distance, or they were backstage not even being utilized.
Yeah, we'll read tomorrow that Cena was in the dark match.
Yeah. Cena was in a dark match against Damian Priest. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know why. See, the drive from Phoenix to LA, to LA is 5 hours 47 minutes. Yeah. So I mean that's less than a 6 hour drive, and you got to. I mean that happens all the time with wrestlers. We're driving going from city to city. That's less than 6 hours is nothing. You know what I mean? So that very very drivable distance. That's something that they probably are there, and they're just going to drive to LA. Throughout the week, sometime this week. So I don't know. Young Reckless 199 super chat. Who do you think would be Cody's opponent for WrestleMania 40? That's a good question.
Probably Reigns.
You think so?
Probably.
All over again?
Probably.
Let's see. Who's Cody Gunther?
Bro, if Cody goes over,
which he probably
Reigns got to disappear for a while.
Yeah, he's scheduled to.
Yeah, there you go. So there's your WrestleMania 40, the return of Roman Reigns. And we'll go through the whole thing. We'll be watching these same shows a year from now, bro.
Oh, the whole thing over again.
Yep.
I sure hope we don't get Cody Roman again.
We'll
probably get Cody Roman again at SummerSlam. Although I've heard either Cody Seth or Cody Randy Orton, which either of those I'm not too excited about. I'm not really excited about it at all. But I think if my choice, so what I think is realistic, not based on my choice. What I think is a realistic opponent for Cody next year will be Gunther, because they can play on the fact that both of them were at the end of the Royal Rumble, and Gunther had a good showing. And if they split the titles, which they should, I wouldn't be upset with. I don't know about Cody keeping it for a year, but if he does, I definitely wouldn't be upset with Gunther dethroning Cody next year at WrestleMania. I wouldn't be upset with that at all.
Yeah.
Christian Fernandez, 499 super chat, bro. You can say one of professional wrestling's core is kayfabe. It seems like when the internet was born, they didn't know how to evolve past that. Yeah, you talk about that a lot, man.
Yeah, that's a great point, Christian. That is a absolutely great point. And like I said, bro, especially when it's a case like a Bobby Lashley, and you're blatantly making the guy look like an afterthought. You can't do that to the guy, bro. And if I'm Lashley, listen, bro, don't get me wrong. The guy's making a lot of money, Chris. I'm sure he's very happy. But if I'm Lashley, I got to say, all right, wait a minute, bro.
Yeah.
None of this is on me, bro.
Yeah.
And, I've got a brand.
Yep.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, man. Like, I do think it's a blessing. I don't think it's a blessing in disguise that Bray is gone, because I hope that he's okay. But I do think it's a blessing in disguise that Bobby Lashley is not going against Bray Wyatt, because there was zero part of that I was excited about. I think that it felt thrown together on every angle, and I'm glad that's not happening. But there's people that if you want to make Bobby Lashley look good, you could throw something that makes sense for a second, like him, like LA Knight, for instance. You can do something like that. And I think there's even a chance that you could do that, because you're thinking 2 nights, and I think there's probably 8 or 9 matches, scheduled for now. So you can do that in one night. And so I think they're going to throw some more matches in there. And what I can't see happening is they do the Andre Battle Royal on SmackDown, and somehow, LA Knight interferes. I mean, like, he distracts Bobby Lashley, or Bobby Lashley eliminates LA Knight, and then LA Knight's upset, and then he distracts Bobby Lashley to get thrown out. And then there you go. Lashley versus LA Knight, and they'll throw it on WrestleMania. So honestly, if they do that and they give Lashley the rub, I would be much more interested in that match than Lashley and Bray any day of the week, because I just think it was thrown together for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Corey, 199 super chat. When was the last Mania y'all were excited to watch? What you got on this, Vince?
Bro, I would say probably the one I worked.
Okay.
Chris, I swear, after the one I worked, which was Austin and Sean, I actually think, bro, because I went out there to have a convention, the one that was in Anaheim. What WrestleMania was that?
With Brett and Sean?
I think it was the NWO. No, the NWO thing with Sting, when Sting was back with the WWE. I think it was that WrestleMania.
Oh, that was 31.
Bro, yeah. I swear to God, since Sean and Austin, which was what, 14 or 15?
Sean and Austin was 98. That was 14.
Bro, since WrestleMania 14, I've watched one WrestleMania.
Really?
And it's that one, because I was there to be in a convention, and I had nothing else to do, so I watched it in a hotel room.
Wow.
Yeah.
man, oh man. I've watched all of them. So the last one I've been excited to watch. I like going to WrestleManias. I worked at sites, and they would send me to go cover WrestleMania. I love, like, what lights me up is new stuff. I like going to new cities, of the cities I've never been to, restaurants I've never been to, like new tourist place I've never been to, stuff like. I like new, like, I like exploring new things. So I like to travel. I'm a foodie too, so I love new restaurants. And so I really like when I go and explore the new city. Like, I went to 34s in New Orleans. I've never been to New Orleans. That was fun. I was at 35 in New York, doing some coverage there. So I got to go to New York, New Jersey, never been there. So that was cool. So I get excited about that.
Yeah.
But as far as like WrestleMania, like when Sunday hit, like I wasn't like 35 with Becky and Charlotte and Ronda Rousey as the main event. I mean, I was there. It was 7 hours. Like it was it was a 7 hour show, dude. Like it didn't end till like 12, close to 12:30. Man, it was insanely long. But as far as just a WrestleMania, I liked 33. It was in Orlando. 33 was cool because there were some rumblings that the Hardy Boys was going to come back, and that was probably one of the biggest pops. And I was it was cool to be there in Orlando because that was one of the biggest pops in WrestleMania history when the New Day came out. They thought that they kind of teased they were going to be a part of the tag match, and they were hosting, and they introduced the Hardy Boys. I mean, in there in Orlando, the crowd was they just went bananas, man. So that was cool. That was cool. 33 is probably the answer to that question. We got some more super chats. I thought I saw. Yeah, here we go. Star Trek are back. $5. If they put a mouse on a treadmill for 3 hours every week instead of the current content, would it make any difference to people's interest in Mania? No, because if a mouse went against Roman Reigns, it wouldn't change a single thing because people bought tickets regardless of what main events events. So mouse first.
Bro, let me put it to you this way, you guys. What's there going to be 75,000 people there or something?
Yeah,
bro, if I'm going to put it to you this way, if that house was half sold, we would have been seeing much, much different TVs the last 4 weeks, guys, without a shadow of a doubt. And that really sucks for you guys as fans because you deserve to be getting those shows anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yeah. Yep. How was the atmosphere at the WrestleMania week backstage, being there, the hype, the Raw, the SmackDown, like how was the hype and how was the aura and the atmosphere the week of WrestleMania backstage?
Bro, I can't talk for these athletes today.
Yeah, when you were there.
Bro, it was just another show. It really was, bro. It was just another show. And I would say the most exciting thing for me as a writer was that very next day, you had new champions and you had new stories and you had new directions to go in. That was the most exciting part of it for me. But bro, when you look back at guys like, a Scott Hall or a Kurt Hennig and people like this, bro, honestly, it was a big payday. I mean, basically, that's the way they looked at it. But the hype of it being WrestleMania itself, I guarantee you, the athletes today look at it a lot differently than back then.
Very interesting. Young Reckless 199. Is Cody the new Rock Cena of WWE going forward? What do you think?
Man, bro, in his current form, I can't believe that he is, bro. I'm telling you, man. I still don't like the suits. I still don't like the representation of money. I still don't like the talking over people's heads. I still don't like trying to impress people with your vocabulary. That is not Rock and Cena, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, when Rock's saying Rudy Poo candy ass, that's not him talking over your head.
Yeah.
You're using that the next day at school.
Yeah, Poontang Pie and
right.
Row. It doesn't matter. Like, the cool catchphrases, man. That was a big thing, back then was just really cool catchphrases. Have a nice day, rest in peace. You know what I mean? Like it's that, that's what really made wrestling so cool, man. You had catchphrases, you had really like kind of buzzwords that that really helped the brand of the wrestler. What you're gonna do, you know what I mean? Like people knew that was Hogan, rest in peace. They knew it was Taker. Oh yeah, they knew it was Savage, and you had that to really enhance the character and the brand. Now what do we have? Acknowledge Me, and what else do we have?
And bro, this is a big part. I got to tell you this too. This is a big part. And maybe guys, maybe this is where I'm missing what everybody else is getting. But you know, that promo tonight with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, when they're talking about their history started in LA, this, that, and the other thing. Bro, I didn't watch your NXT stuff, bro. Like, so like all of that, I don't care about. There's a lot of people, bro, that saw Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the first time on WWE television, bro. A lot of people. Yeah. So if you're going to give me that old LA story, then you got to give it to me, bro, because I didn't see it, man.
Yeah, I don't think I think it's a disservice to the story as a whole if you're just throwing that on the last promo backstage before WrestleMania Go Home show. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that it's like, okay, so why didn't you include this backstory within the meat of the storyline, a story arc or the storyline? It would have made sense to appeal to the emotion of Kevin Owens more than to just, okay, now we're friends now. Oh, you remember back then, you know, that we're in LA? Like, that just doesn't make sense that you're throwing it right before.
Bro, because the WWE does not know how to relate like real people relate. Yeah. They know how to do it in terms of wrestling. And here's case in point. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were such great friends. Well, if they were such great friends, bro, it probably meant that their wives were such great friends and that their families knew each other. I saw nothing of that in this great, tremendous storyline. And bro, this part today really made me like, really, bro? Bro, they did a package on Bianca Belair and they had Montez Ford cut a 10-second clip like he might as well have been John Cena.
Yeah.
They don't know how to do real relationships, bro. They they know wrestling relationships. They don't know real, because I saw that and I'm like, this dude is married to her and that's what you're going to have him say?
Yeah. It would have been cool if he would have narrated it. Like,
that would have been really cool, Chris. Really cool. Yeah.
Crypto Coffee 13, $1 super chat just because he's a fan of the show, ladies and gentlemen. That's really cool. So there's 13 matches for WrestleMania, I was told. Okay. Well, I think didn't WrestleMania 6 have like 16 matches? The one with Warrior.
Oh, that was the tournament. What? No, that was 4 and 5, wasn't it?
Yeah, 4 was the tournament with Savage.
Yeah.
I think 6 had 16 matches. Yeah. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 matches on the main card and 1 dark match. The Paul Roman defeated the dark match. Paul Roman defeated the Brooklyn Brawler, bro. Yeah, 6 had the 14 matches, man. So you can, I mean, you know, this has less than WrestleMania 6, and and that was a 3-hour show, I believe. So just because it's, I mean, you're just going to be stretching matches in two nights, man. I don't get it, man. Same 7 had 14 matches. So I mean, like, it's just there's a lot of things that are still having, like, Legion of Doom beat Power and Glory in 59 seconds.
Bless their hearts, bro. Bless
their hearts, man. Bless their hearts. Man, I was a big Hercules fan back in the day. Yeah. So the Mountie beats Tito Santana in 1 minute and 21 seconds.
Bro, it doesn't matter. They've got that audience, bro. It doesn't matter.
But here's the thing, though. But here's the thing. Like, it don't matter. Like, to me, match durations, that doesn't matter if the story makes it make sense. Like, that's my thing. You could keep your 20-minute catch can, false finish, super kick, Canadian destroyer, this is awesome, holy crap. You can keep those if it doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Otherwise, like, if I'm watching matches for matches' sake with no build to it, I'm not really interested in that. Like, there's, you know, granted, there's matches that they were really cool without any build, and it's a nice match. it's cool. It's artistic. It's creative. You know what I mean? And I'll give it that. But I mean, like that happens all the time nowadays. There's
Yeah.
no. It's a dime a dozen. It doesn't feel special. It doesn't feel unique. Back in the day, you had those matches that were carved out for certain people. Savage, for every Savage and Steamboat at 3, you had it Hogan and Andre at 3. You know what I mean? You had your mat technicians. Same thing with like a Piper, Piper Brett, or Piper's more of a character, but Hinnick, what I mean, Mr. Perfect, he was that workhorse. What I mean, and with him and Brett, that was really cool. But for every workhorse championship match, you also had Warrior Rude. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like you have those big character main event matches for those workhorse matches, but now the workhorse has shifted over to the main events.
Yep.
And now people are losing their interest because they're shifting the characters out, and the workhorse matches are building the interest into the main event character matches. Now they just shoved them all away, and they shoved a big audience away too with that. So
absolutely, bro. I told you, man. TNA started in 2002. There was one X Division match, and it usually opened the show. Now 90% of these wrestling cards are X Division matches, bro.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. Corey, 499 super chat. WWE can't even sustain their veteran stars. Doc, would you believe 15 years ago you would say you wouldn't be excited to see Orton or Edge headline a pay-per-view? Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, and I'm not. I mean, I imagine. I mean, I bet you Edge and Finn are. They're gonna tear it down with the Hell in. So I'm glad that they brought a stipulation with that too, and not just have a regular match. They're gonna have a good match. But I've seen so much damage to this story that the story doesn't excite me. Like it's not. There's no consistency week to week. Edge is there, Finn is there. Then there's a video package. There's nothing, and it's like there's no continuity there. There's no consistency. And so you're not giving me excitement. If this is supposed to be an episodic television show and I'm supposed to be locked in this story arc, if they're here one week and gone the other, you're losing my interest. I mean,
you know what's so funny, guys? My dad is here visiting me right now. And tonight was my Raw night. So I sat him in front of Tulsa Kings. And bro, what they do with all series on TV, it doesn't have to be, Paramount. It could be anything, Hulu. I mean, you name it, is once there's one episode, when that episode's finished, it starts counting down to the next episode. So, my father, started enjoying this. And the first thing he said to me is it going to keep immediately going to the next episode? Now think about watching this 3-hour episode tonight. And Chris, it's 11 o'clock and the next episode starts in. What are the chances, Chris? What are the chances of you staying around for the next episode?
Man. Unpaid, 0.
That's what I'm saying, bro. It's like, that's the way they do it. And you keep going and going and going. Chris talks about episodic television. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, 100%, man. $5 from Lewis. Hollywood.
Yes.
Do you think the problem is with the Karen gimmick is that the miscast? Also, if it is, who would you cast to make it work?
Bailey's a Karen, bro. Bailey is a Karen, and Becky called her a Karen one week, and that was the end of it. Becky is a Karen. She looks like a Karen. She talks like a Karen. She's got a big mouth. Yeah. She is a Karen, bro.
Yeah, and it's funny that she acknowledged Becky as Karen after we, threw out that as far as Becky Lynch, as far as
I mean, you couldn't have a more perfect Karen than Bailey, man.
I think that she would get so much heat. I think that she would really revive her character because this damage control seem to be damage control to her
Oh,
character.
you mean to tell me, Chris, you don't think she gets a lot of heat when she goes out there and calls the people in Arizona a bunch of idiots?
For about 4 seconds, and then
Oh
they
my
lose interest
God,
again.
please, bro. Give me a freaking break, man.
Yeah.
I swear to God, bro. When I say all these things on this show, I want you guys to understand something. If I were working with these people, everything I say on this show, I would say to them. I want you to understand that, because my job would be to make them better and to be there to enhance them. And Chris, not only enhance them, push them.
Yeah.
You know, push them. You know, Becky, come up with something else other than insulting the crowd. You know what I mean? So I just want everybody to understand that. I mean, I had many of these conversations when I was writing for all three different companies. So I'm not saying anything here that I wouldn't say directly to them if I were working with them.
I always bring up two people during your era that's, main events meant something. Every single person on television had their pocket, what I mean, and they meant something. I always say Crash Holly, what I mean, like he was someone who was a smaller guy who looked big because he built himself as over 400 pounds and he carried a scale to the ring. I mean, like, and he would like go and like look at the Big Show and like pretend that he was just as like his height. And so stuff like that. He was like a scrappy dude type of character when he was with Hardcore Holly. Stuff like that made sense. He was a smaller character, but he had a scrappy dude type of ferocity to him. And that made perfect sense for his stature, for his character, that he felt like Scrappy Doo. Yeah. And guess what? That gave me a reason to buy into Crash Holly every single week, as opposed to, hey, here's Crash Holly for no reason, for no bill.
Well, Chris, it's a simple math. If I have 100 characters on my show and 80 of them are over opposed to 20, you're going to have a lot more people watching your show.
Yeah, absolutely. Because people can be like, man, I can't, I love that Crash Holly guy, man. He cracks me up every time he comes on the show with the scale thing. I love the scale gimmick. And so like, even the Job Squad, back in the day, it's like the Job Squad was over, man. You made like Gilbert was over, what I mean? Like stuff like that.
Bro, even the Brood with the entrance, the fire.
Yeah, the entrance was great, man. Yeah, the entrance was really cool. One of the best entrances in WWE history. And it's like, okay, yeah, well, they're not main eventing, shows, but at the same time, they had a killer entrance, and so you'll watch the Brood for the entrance. And so, Al Snow, he had a head, he got that was an ECW concept, but it really got its legs in the WWE to another level, so everybody meant something then, and I appreciated that. Scott Smith, $3 super sticker. Awesome Sauce, $5.50 super chat. I just want Cody to lose so we can end Mania the same way Back to the Future ended, because with WWE, they don't need Rhodes.
Yeah, that's the way Back to the Future ended. Yes.
Very nice. Sports Kingdom, $4.99 super chat, bro. Vince, do you think Cody has proved anything as return to WWE? Also, do you think casuals remember him as Stardust or
Yes, he has proved a lot, and I wrote a whole article about it for Weber's Jericho. Yes, bro, he has proven he can carry the ball. There's no doubt in my mind. There is no doubt in my mind, bro. He has taken this opportunity, which he created, jumping from AEW. He manipulated both sides. It was a beautiful thing. He got paid a lot of money. He has definitely showed that he can carry the ball and be a main eventer. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. I don't think the casuals do remember Stardust or Paper Bag Cody, because I think it helped that he went away and established the name for himself at AEW and then came back after that.
Yeah. Stardust seemed like it was so backwards from the brown paper bag gimmick. I really liked.
I don't even know what the brown paper bag gimmick was.
It was,
what was it?
To me, that was, my opinion, that was Cody Rhodes' best gimmick. Like it was like, so I don't remember if you remember Dashing Cody Rhodes, like when he came out. So he was with Legacy, him, Orton, and Ted DiBiase Jr. They actually had a match at WrestleMania. So they all broke off, and DiBiase didn't really do much after that. I think he was. I think he was with. I think it was with Maurice, if I'm not mistaken. I know he had the $1 million championship for a hot second. He brought that back. He was either with Maurice or Oksana. I think it was Maurice, one of them. And so he kind of fell by the wayside. Interesting enough, it seemed like he was the one that was going to break out from the two. And then Orton did his thing. Cody went to SmackDown. They debuted him as Dashing Cody Rhodes. So he would look in the mirror. It's kind of like a narcissistic gimmick. When he would come and have the Smoke and Mirrors theme song, and there'll be mirrors everywhere. So he was just real pompous, just narcissist type of deal. And so basically there was a time where he was in a match with, I believe, Rey Mysterio. And Rey Mysterio did a 619, and it hit his face, and it messed up his face because he always protected his face as Dashing Cody Rhodes. So he gets to 619, he gets hit in the face, and so then he starts wearing a plastic, face protector. I mean, like, good story. Starts wearing a plastic face protector, and he was so upset that he was that he got hit in the face. He would beat people and put brown paper bags on top of them. And so and then he would have like a legion of people with like brown paper bags. And then so he beat Ray at WrestleMania with this gimmick, and he was just so disheveled and disgruntled because the dashing was no longer the
case. It is so funny the way they just repeat these angles over and over again, because I had not seen that at all.
Yeah.
And literally that original characters with the mirrors and this, that, and the other thing was Lex Luger. And then we saw years later, they put the gimmick on the Moneymaker on Carmella. All right. I mean, those are the same exact gimmicks. They do it over and over and over again.
It definitely had a Lex Luger rendition on it. But to me, I think he did it. I think Cody did a really good job maximizing his minutes with the dashing.
I didn't see any of it.
Dashing. Dashing was okay, but the brown paper bag gimmick was really good. So he got a WrestleMania win out of it too. So we have Raw in here. I guess we'll just do super chats the whole time because that's what we've been doing. We had Roland had a nice question here. Super chats. Let me see. Lots of hype here. Lots of interaction here with the SK Nation. We always appreciate it. Of course, the super chats come up on the screen. And here we go. Roland 199. He asks, should Vince McMahon appear or cut a promo at Mania?
God, no, but that's not saying he won't. That's not saying he won't, bro. Right in LA, that is not saying he won't.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me either, for sure. Let's see. Kristen is asking a serious question. I'll defer to you, Vince, as someone who used to write for it. Serious question. Why is Raw so bad, honestly?
Christian, I said this when because I had the same conversation with USA Network a couple of years ago. Whether 1 million people watch this show or whether 10 million people watch this show, they get paid the same amount.
Yep.
So why are they going to put in all that effort if the rating has nothing to do with their bottom line? I mean, Chris, let's look at professional athletes. When the more they produce, the more money. There's incentives in contracts across the board, bro. With Raw, whether one person is watching or 100 million, they make the same amount of money. Yeah. And that's where you would think, Christian, that pride would kick in, but unfortunately it doesn't.
Yeah, there you go. We got Big Dog Inc., $5. Cody does not deserve this shot. They're giving him a push he'll never live up to. My call, Orton returns, costs Cody the title. I mean, man, I still don't see it in Cody, man. I just, this is what I can respect in Cody. I can respect his grind. I can respect his physical ethic. He looks great. I can respect the fact that he pays attention to the psychology, a lot. He's really into that. Of course, his dad was one of the best psychological minds in wrestling. I can appreciate that. But what, as a babyface in Cody Rhodes, makes him look like he's on the top?
Chris, this is 1000% right place, right time. Yeah. Now, like Big Dog, bro, I think that's a great idea. I really do, bro. I love that thinking. I love the outside the box. But think about that, bro. Think about that, Big Dog, because here's what we always go back to. They haven't made stars, Chris. That's what we always go back to. So think about that, Big Dog. So, okay, Orton comes, derails Cody, which is great, which nobody will see coming. They've got a history. That's all beautiful. So now Cody goes with Orton. Who's Reigns' opponent? That's the problem here, guys. That's a great idea, Big Dog, but they don't have anybody over that. Who's he going to go? They're going to put Almost over Brock, and then Almost is going to wrestle Roman Reigns? Like, really?
I got it. Positive Ali.
Positive Ali, bro.
There you go.
I mean, that's a great way to get out of the match, but then Reigns doesn't have an opponent.
Here's my preference. Here's what I would prefer. Make this bloodline thing full circle, man. Make it full circle, and somehow have Jey Uso like go against Roman Reigns, man. Because the thing is, this whole bloodline started. If you think about the bloodline timeline, we'll get on that for a minute. Sports Kingdom. So if you think about the bloodline timeline, Reigns comes SummerSlam 2020 after the Fiend beats Braun Strowman. They're in the Thunderdome. Reigns comes in, spears, beats up on the Fiend after he wins the match. Jey Uso wins. It was like a triple threat or a fatal four-way match. I think Riddle and Corbin was in there to become number one contender for Clash of Champions. And so then by Jey Uso, because Jimmy was hurt at that time, by Jey Uso winning a number one contenders match, because it's really that simple. It's something that simple to really spark the fire of a cool storyline. It's just simply put him in a number one contenders match. He wins it. That was the spark to 2.5 years of this, what we see right now.
Bro, you know what I would do? I would go in a different direction with that.
Okay.
How about Jimmy Uso and Reigns didn't go to bat for his wife when she lost her job? How about the stroke he had in the company? And I mean, that's a realistic avenue and storyline you can go down.
That I just don't. I want this bloodline thing to go away. I mean, I think
I hear you.
I liked it. I think I like the longevity. Again, pro wrestlers are come to life for me. So I'm a big fan of the stories, man. That's why I started watching wrestling, was because the riveting storylines. To me, it's full circle if Jey gets involved again. If somehow Jimmy cost or Heyman cost or something like that, them the tag titles before the main event, and then Jey comes out and he costs Reigns the main event, the match, or disqualification or something like that. A DQ finish probably wouldn't be the best, but somehow Jey gets into that mix or costs Cody or something like that. And so Jey, to me, even if you do Jey Reigns without the belt, and I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? If Jey somehow costs Reigns the belt with Cody, if Reigns is going to take some time away, why don't you do Jey versus Reigns in Saudi? Because at the end of the day, the full circle of this would make sense if Jey beats Reigns at Saudi at King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring, and that would cause Reigns to be disheveled. the very beginning of the bloodline, the whole acknowledge me thing came from Jay. And that would be full circle if Jay finally gets his comeuppance and wins the match. And it won't be for a title line, so you don't have to worry about Jay being champ. And is he champ? Is he worthy of being champ? You don't need that. Just have him beat Reigns, and Reigns goes off. The bloodline closes there.
See, I think the teeth. I think they get legs on this thing, and they get teeth on this thing if Cody and Heyman are in cahoots and they screw Roman Reigns. I think that gives it legs, and I think that gives it teeth. And bro, you got to go back to that promo. You got to go back to that promo where Cody said, "I want to be somebody." So what does it take to be? Whatever it takes to be somebody. And you know what? Dusty didn't cheat, and Dusty didn't do this, and where did it get Dusty? Nowhere. So all you have to do is get that little bird in his ear. I just think what I'm talking about here, Chris, is longevity.
Yeah,
I think longevity that gives them some legs.
I can see that. The only thing is there's nothing about a Cody Heyman alliance that intrigues me whatsoever. I think that's I don't see. I like I said before, I give it 6 months. Cody will be a heel. I mean, like I think that this honeymoon stage with Cody is not going to last long. And it's interesting because I think that he probably already would have been a heel if he would have stayed the whole year and didn't leave. Would have been gone so long. It's somebody new, it's somebody fresh, it's somebody different. He has a story. He has that injured story that people can, get behind. Same thing when Triple H was a major heel in 2001, the power trip, the 2-man power trip with him in Austin. And then he gets the injury, the quad injury, I believe it was. It was the leg and hamstring or quad. I think it was quad. So he gets the injury. He's out. He was one of the biggest heels at the time. He's out, and they start doing video stories of his update of his progress. He comes in that Raw, in 2002. The place goes bananas, and he ended up winning the Royal Rumble, and he goes in as a babyface in 2002. I believe he beat Jericho for the title, and that made sense. And I see the same thing. You talking about regurgitating storylines in a sense. 20 years later, similar to Cody's doing the same thing. He wasn't a heel, but he's still having that injured, the storyline. People are getting behind him. I see this fading out within 6 months, maybe a little bit more, but within 6 months, the fans are going to get over. Because think of events. What's the difference between Cody Rhodes of 2022 to 2023 to Roman Reigns of 2014 or 15? People was very, very critical of Roman Reigns because he was a baby face that was forced down our throats. That was the biggest critique of Roman Reigns. Succotash. Yeah. So he was. What's the difference? What's the difference? Okay, Cody has better mic work. Okay, but against if the mic work still doesn't really help the story and build it, so what? What does that even mean?
Yeah.
So there's not much of a difference between Roman Reigns of 7-8 years ago to Cody's today.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen, man.
Yeah.
So when Cody became when Reigns became babyface in around 14, he went against Orton at SummerSlam. Fans were behind him, and then within months he kept winning, and fans they crapped on him. Same thing with Cena. Kept winning matches, fans crapped on him. I can see the same thing happening.
Bro, there's one thing I do want to say about this show. Bro, Seth Rollins has to be more than one-dimensional with the singing and the laughing.
That's not gonna happen, man.
I mean, bro, the guy got sucker punched, laid out, knocked out 2 weeks in a row by a non-wrestler.
Yeah.
Bro, you can't go out there laughing and singing after that. I need to see a change in his demeanor, bro. I mean, come on, bro. The guy knocked you out cold 2 weeks in a row, and we're still laughing and we're still singing. So you're not the least bit angry or upset. Come on,
You
man.
already know, man. That's his stick, man.
Come
So he's
on,
doing
brother.
it.
Please. That's where it loses the reality for me, man.
Yeah. Sports Kingdom's asking Vince, do you think Gunther would be a star? Do you look at him and go, I do not want to get in a fight with
I'll
this?
tell you the one thing that hits me with Gunther, because I have seen him a few times on Raw, and I also worked with this guy, bro, in England many, many, many years ago. To me, bro, it's the presentation to me is it's a little vanilla. I would like to see, bro, almost really go all the way with the Dolph Lundgren treatment of Drago, where he's got people that he needs Alana, bro. I mean, that character would work here, whether she's his publicist, she's his PR agent, but give him a team, surround him with a team. I'm just seeing something that's like very, very vanilla. And it's funny, bro, because I'm thinking about that and I'm like, well, bro, who is more vanilla than King Kong Bundy? With the black, but King Kong, nobody looked like King Kong. But he was just an egg, bro.
Very wide.
Nobody looked like this. I mean, Gunther, he's got a great physique. He's a tall guy.
Yeah.
I just think it needs an accent for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know who I think would be really good in that role? Not necessarily Lana, because Lana, she's an American who had a
he needs like a Lana.
Yeah. So I think Maxine Dupree would be really good in that spot. Ditch the whole Maximum Male Models, photo shoot thing. She has the look, she has the presence. I think that if they put her in that spot to be with Imperium and that type of very aristocratic, I'm better than you, foreign, either a foreign sympathizer type of deal or just a foreign person, I think that's where you can help bring more layers to that gimmick, because you don't want to see. I think when Ludwig Kaiser was doing a lot of when it was just Kaiser and Gunther there, Kaiser was doing some good promos to make Gunther look bigger, but now he looks like the same with Imperium, and Imperium isn't a very strong team. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really help him.
God, bro, who would probably get him big time heat, bro? What's bro, who's the redhead that they've screwed so many times in and out? Eva Marie.
Oh.
Eva Marie. Can you imagine, bro? Can you imagine?
That would be a very odd pairing, man. I don't know how they would make that work. I think that if you want a Lana style character, I think Maxine Dupree with the blonde and the very slender but fit body type of deal, that would work. Big Dog set up Roman versus Orton at SummerSlam. I mean, do you see some legitimacy to that?
See, I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's got marquee at this point. Yeah. I mean, I love the idea with Orton and Rhodes. I mean, I really, really do. But like I said, I just don't know what you do, Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, we've already seen him Roman and Orton at SummerSlam, and it was just It was okay, but it wasn't very well. It wasn't the best. We got Sports Kingdom 999 super chat. Chris and Vince, who will steal the show at Mania? Honestly, I believe Logan will and become WWE's best talent since Kurt Angle. He just gets marketing unlike Seth. Seth to me is all about spots. I think it's going to steal the show.
Bro, it's so interesting that you say that in Sports Kingdom. I love what he's looking into because, bro, you got the WWE that's a company, and Hunter has already told us that, there's not going to be another John Cena. So they're very departmentalized. They're all kept in their little box and can be so much. Bro, don't think for 1 second when Logan Paul is out there, Chris, it is 1,000% his brand. He don't care about the WWE. He don't care about Rollins. It is his brand. And think about this, bro, with Logan Paul. Bro, when you're a guy like that and you're at that level making as much money as you are, what do you've got to do, Chris, to top that? Yeah. So that was a very, very good point, bro. Like that time in the ring for him is a freaking billboard, bro. And I'm sure that's how he looks at it. I'm sure he's not doing this for the WrestleMania money. I'm sure he's doing it for the branding.
For the exposure, yeah, for sure, yeah. Awesome Sauce, $2,000 super chat. That'd be great. $2.20 super chat. How was Stacey in the Hall of Fame before Liz? Makes no sense.
Because of the way Liz died. Let's just be honest.
That's sad, man.
Yep.
Again, man. Well, Sportskeeda should be releasing some videos about that soon. But we talked. You and EC3 talked about that. I don't see a case, man. I don't see a case for Stacey. I thought that she was amazing, to look at. Back in the day, I had a little crush on Stacy Keibler. I think she was and is beautiful, but I mean, give me the case, please. I'm open. Like I said, Sportskeeda Nation. I asked EC3 this question. I asked you this question. I'm open to hear the case of why Stacy Keibler is a Hall of Famer. I don't see it,
bro. I'm going to throw this out there, a little something for the Sportskeeda Nation to roll around in their mouths a little bit. First of all, bro, I got to be honest with you. I could never understand, and I'm not taking anything away from her. I could never understand Sunny getting in the Hall of Fame. So my only logic to that was she had something over him. Yeah. That was my only thing. That was logical to me. And the Hall of Fame tag could perhaps help her career. So if I know about some of the skeletons in some of the closets, who knows with Stacy Keibler, bro. Listen, when Stacy was dating George Clooney, she was on top of the world. I don't know what Stacy Keibler has done lately, man. I don't follow Stacy Keibler. But again, bro, when you look at, Vince with the NDAs and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden we're like, Stacy Keibler,
yeah,
you just don't know, bro. You just don't know.
That's a good point, man. That's you're allowed to speculate, man. You're allowed to speculate. There's nothing illegal with speculation. I don't know, man. Again, I'm open to see it. Look, tweet me at Chris Prolific. Whatever you think, give me a case of why Stacy Keibler should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Now, should they have pushed her more in WWE other than being, the Dudleys and then Test and Scott Steiner, feud? Agreed. But people keep saying she had nice legs. Like, is that really the criteria of putting someone in the Hall of Fame? Like, how bad,
bro? If she had nice legs, then I should be in the WWE Hall of Fame for being a WCW World Champion
and being undefeated in singles action. People need to understand this guy right here is undefeated, has never lost a singles match. He lost in a tag match, ladies and gentlemen, and so undefeated as a singles
and did not take the fall.
And AJ Styles is the one who took the fall, man. So I mean, we're talking about Hall of Fame resumes here. This guy right here has a Hall of Fame resume. All right, man. Just we spent so much time taking care of those super chats. Thank you for funding the show, SK Nation. Any takeaways, man? Let's just run through.
No, that was it, bro. This whole run was exactly what we predicted. You guys can go back and listen 4 weeks ago. And we said this is going to be maintenance till WrestleMania. They're going to give people victories. And we told you guys that 4 weeks ago. And really, guys, give me, Chris, one freaking angle that happened over the past 4 weeks. We talked about with Dominic and Ray it being something with the mother. We talked about that and that, guys, what the tickets are sold, bro. That's my takeaway. The tickets are sold, man.
Yeah, yes, indeed. All right. We're gonna close it on that, man. That's we usually do a segment by segment, but hey, that was this was much more exciting than look, people are asking for Joey. Hey, if you super chat, man, we'll bring Joey out. Otherwise, we're gonna get up on out of here. So, like I said, we usually do segment by segment, but today, thank you for.
Bro. I mean, come on, it was all,
Yeah.
bro. This was over 50% packages. Of
Yeah, it was, and we had the super chat of all the people who weren't here.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
and this is a go home show with all those absences. So yeah. All right, Vince, let them know about the brand, my man.
Yeah, guys, check me out at russosbrand.com. Follow me on Twitter at the Vince Russo.
Indeed. Roland man, he always come through at the end, man. In the clutch. Roland the Clutch Curtis, ladies and gentlemen. That's his gimmick now. I remember the late legendary icon Aretha Franklin singing America the Beautiful. Great job, by the way, at Mania 3. This year, Becky G will sing America the Beautiful at Mania. I have never heard of Becky G. Have you? No. I've never heard of Becky G. You know who Becky G is? No, I don't. I don't know who Becky G is. At the Vince Russo, at Chris Prolific. Vince will be on my show tomorrow. Vince and EC3, and also another special guest. So this is my 11th year anniversary of the Pancakes and Power Slam show, man. So, man, wow, that's amazing.
That's incredible, bro.
11 straight years on the air, man. So incredible. 573 or 4 shows that I've done straight. So straight weeks. Haven't missed a week. There's a handful that I was gone, a couple bursts and COVID. No, I think I ended up doing a COVID too. I was sick as a dog, but yeah, a handful of shows I missed, but I had replacements. Handful of shows I missed in 11 years. So that shows my dedication to the fans of the show. So thank you so much. Sportskeeda, real quick. Japanese baseball or Japanese wrestling, Vince?
I love Japanese baseball, bro. I really do. Those athletes are phenomenal, bro.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, cool. This, ladies and gentlemen, Legion of Raw Go Home episode. And again, tomorrow, Pancakes and Power Slam. Subscribe on YouTube. 11-year anniversary. Vince Russo will be there with me with EC3 and some more special guests we're going to have on there. Prayers out to my guy Black Bart, man. He's got stage 4 cancer now. Black Bart is someone who I've became really good friends with over the past few years, and so my prayers and well wishes go out to you, my man. Best speedy recovery and Godspeed on that. All right, without further ado, Vince Russo, Dr. Chris. Have a good night, everybody. Solo.